African-US summit is ongoing in Washington, D.C., where the Joe Biden administration has invited 49 African head of states for this summit. Which I must say, sometimes I really do not understand the purpose of all these summits because I personally think that they really don't get anything done. We don't achieve anything through this summit because they go, they talk, and then they pledge, and then they come back and everything to me still looks the same. And we must understand, I'm not trying to be maybe anti-West and for China or whatsoever, but I'm just stating the obvious fact. And I stand corrected, right? Or if you have more information and you think my opinions or my ideas are wrong, please, you can correct me in the comment section below. I believe that America and the West, whatever they have promised in Africa, they have yet to achieve it. Because I know one of their biggest selling point in Africa was human right, freedom, democracy. That's what they've been selling to Africa for many years now. But I can tell you that most countries in Africa do not practice any of these things. Human rights is very poor. Democracy has taken a back seat. Freedom of speech is the worst. So you see that they've not achieved anything. And the one thing that I find very strange or funny with all these so-called Western powers or Western countries is that they are willing to deal with any dictator as long as their interest is being protected. As long as they get what they want, they have no problem dealing with dictators. America, France, Britain, Germany, all of them, just name them. And I understand that they practice human rights in their home country. In their home country, they practice freedom of speech. Like their people have freedom of speech, freedom of expression. But their foreign policy with African countries haven't benefited the common person at all. We, the common Africans, haven't benefited anything from their foreign policy towards Africa. They have given us aid that haven't helped us in any way. They promise that they won't deal with dictators in Africa, but yet still they are dealing with them time in, time out. So you get the hypocrisy when it comes to the West foreign policy in Africa. As for China, on the other hand, China just say it as it is. China said we won't interfere. We don't care who the leader is. We don't care what the leader does to its people. It's his business. We don't get involved. We just care about trading with the country, period. They say it point blank. But the West or the United States will be like, we want them to have freedom of speech. We want them to have freedom of expression. We want them to live according to the rules and regulations and to have human rights. But yet they are willing to deal with African dictators. They are willing to invite all of them for a summit in the US. So I tell people that the Westerners are just in Africa just to protect their interests, not for us, the Africans. We Africans, we have to fight for ourselves because if we are hoping that foreigners will come in to help us, then we are wasting our time. They won't come in except their interest is being threatened. And when they are coming in, it's not because they want to protect us, the Africans. It's because their interest is being threatened. And that's why they are coming just to protect their interests. We all know what has been going on in Africa and how they have interfered with African government and how they have taken out some African head of states. It's not new story. It's not something new. It's like public knowledge. What they did to Congo, what they did to Rwanda, what they did to Libya. Let me go through this article with you guys. It says, What to expect as US African Summit kicks off in Washington. The United States aims to boost cooperation with African nations as President Biden hosted dozens of regional leaders at the second US African Leaders Summit this week in Washington, D.C. Beginning on Tuesday, the 3 day summit will focus on key challenges, including the climate crisis, good governance, food security, and global health, as well as bolstering US Africa trade and investment opportunities. The summit is rooted in the recognition that Africa is a key geopolitical player. The continent will shape the future not just of the African people, but also the world. U.S. National Security Advisor Sullivan told reporters on Monday afternoon 49 African heads of state and leaders, as well as African Union, were invited to the summit. The talks, a follow up to the first such gathering hosted by former US President Barack Obama 8 years ago, marked the biggest international gathering in Washington, D.C. since before the start of the COVID 19. Biden has sought to rebuild Washington's relationship with other countries as well as re engage with global organizations like the United Nations after 4 years of his predecessor Donald Trump's America First approach to foreign policy. The US role in Africa receded during that time, and Biden administration officials have stressed the need to strengthen ties with like minded countries in the region. It's funny. It's funny to see Biden officials thinking that America has a like minded country in Africa. This is so funny, my brothers and sisters. It's so funny. Like minded in what aspect? If you mean that like minded in the sense that they can let you guys exploit the continent as you want, then that's that's okay. But if you mean in terms of democracy, human rights, freedom of speech, then I think you must be mistaken, right? Because I don't really think that America has like-minded countries in Africa. But let's continue. Working closely with Congress, the US will commit 55 billion to Africa over the course of the next 3 years. Wow. Yeah, it's always like that. Let's just throw money at the problem and it will go away, right? Let's just give them handouts. And that's the thing with most Western powers that I really don't understand why they keep on doing this. They believe that throwing money at a problem will get the problem solved. But that's not how things actually work. Am I wrong? You have to really learn to tackle problems from the root, and not all problems are financial. Some problems just need you to give it some attention. Some problems just need you to pay more time trying to figure out what the solution is. Not all problems are about money. But for the West, they just feel like let's throw money at the problem and it will get solved. And that is the same thing that has been going on in the Mediterranean Sea, where Europe thought that they could just throw money at Libya and at Morocco to keep a migrant from crossing. But that didn't work. So we must learn to tackle problems from the root. Not all problems can be fixed with money. And I have to say this again. Africa must learn to stand on its own 2 feet. The West, the East, would not develop Africa. No one helped them when they were developing. They did it by themselves. So Africa must do it by itself. We, the Africans, must start building the continent, must stop collecting handouts from people. To you guys, my brothers and sisters out there, what do you think this summit will accomplish or will achieve? Let us know in the comment section below because, like always, we love hearing what you have to say. Please do not forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Little deeds of goodwill like this one helps the channel a lot, and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one. Cat.